Hey everyone. So SM is debuting a new project girl group called GOT, or Girls on Top, with girls from their different groups. It's essentially the female equivalent of Super M. I really like the lineup. It has women from all 4 generations of K-pop and includes artists from every SM girl group except SES and F.X, both disbanded. I personally would prefer a rotating lineup, kind of like NCTU, with each comeback having different members for both Super M and GOT, but still I think the lineup is great. From 1st Gen, it has the soloist BoA. From 2nd Gen it has Taeyeon and Hyoyeon of SNSD. From 3rd Gen it has Seulgi and Wendy of Red Velvet. And from 4th Gen it has Karina and Winter from aespa. So my thoughts on the lineup. I think it makes sense for BoA to be in the group. I feel like Lee Suman loves her so much and the company is really proud of her. With SES disbanded and BoA being the only 1st Gen artist still in the company, I think it's great to see her. As far as 2nd Gen, it's a shame F.X disbanded and a lot of SNSD has left the company, but I'm still happy to say Taeyeon and Hyoyeon. I love them both. They're some of my favorite soloists currently, and Taeyeon is my SNSD bias. I think it would have been cool to see another SNSD member, like Yuna. But I understand Taeyeon and Hyoyeon are the only members that are still really active in releasing music. For 3rd Gen, of course I love Red Velvet. Like BoA, I feel like it's a no-brainer that Seulgi was added. I feel like before Irene's scandal, she would have been added instead of Wendy. Also, as a Joy bias and my favorite current SM artist, I'm a little sad not to see her. Honestly, I love Red Velvet so much I wish all 5 of them could be in this group. Lastly, for 4th Gen, Karina is a no-brainer to include and I'm glad to see Winter. I do wish they included Ningning or Giselle because it's an all-Korean group, unlike Super M who had Thai and Chinese members, and those 2 are the only female foreign artists after F.X's debut, but still I love to see Karina and Winter. I of course love the lineup because aside from BoA, who I don't really know much about besides a few songs, I stan all these groups so I'd be happy with any lineup. Again, I would prefer to see a rotating member group so I could see different members of different groups interact and release music. I'm really excited for their debut though, and I know they'll be a hit. Unlike Super M, I don't think they'll be marked much as a foreign group. The only English speaker they have is Wendy and they have no foreign members. So I don't think they'll have as much of push in the US or Japan and China. Anyways, let's get on with what positions I think they'll have. I'll show what positions I think each member will have first and then move on to my explanations.
먼저 next level 저 너머의 문을 열어 next level.
I gave both BoA and Karina the positions of center because Super M has 2 centers, Taemin and Taeyong, so I figure GOT will have 2 as well. I chose BoA as the first center because of course she's incredibly well known and has had the most experience in the industry. She's also the person in the middle in the teaser photo and the only person who doesn't come from a group. I chose Karina as center because SM is definitely pushing her as the face of aespa and of SM, so it makes sense. These are all incredibly popular and well-known artists, so I think hopefully they'll all get a lot of center time, but besides Karina and Boa, I think Taeyeon and Seulgi are also runners-up for center. I gave the position of leader to Boa because she's the oldest and most experienced member. I hesitated giving Boa leader instead of Taeyeon for two reasons. First, she's center. And a lot of times it's hard to handle both responsibilities, but in SM groups usually the center is also the leader, like in the case of Taeyong and Irene. She's also the oldest, which is another thing SM tends to favor. Besides that, she's the only one who hasn't experienced being in a group like the others have, so it may be harder to be a leader. So yeah, I do think she's the leader, but if she's not it will be Taeyeon. I didn't give a face of the group position because it could literally be anyone, but I'm leaning towards Taeyeon. Still, I have no clue, so no one gets that position. I also didn't give a visual because beauty is subjective. If it were anybody it would probably be Winter, since she's the only one of the 7 with a visual position. Boa is main dancer because she's a really well-known dancer, but I gave her sub-vocal because I think there are better vocalists than her in the group. I also know the least about Boa, so her positions I'm a little more unsure about. Taeyeon is obviously main vocal and I don't think much explanation needs to be given to that. She also could be the leader. Hyeon is again obviously main rapper, main dancer, and sub-vocal. I don't think I need to say much about that. I gave Seulgi lead dancer instead of main dancer, so there would be a 2-to-2 ratio of main and lead dancers. Since Boa and Hyeon are already main dancers and I think they are deserving of that position, I gave her lead dancer. She is also very obviously lead vocal material. I gave Wendy main vocal for obvious reasons and sub-rapper because she's honestly a pretty good rapper. There are already 2 rappers in the group, but I think if it were necessary she could be a rapper. I gave Karina lead rapper because she's second to Hyeon in this category, and lead dancer because I'd say she ranks 4th in dance after Boa, Hyeon, and Seulgi. I gave Winter the position of lead vocal because she's a great vocalist and sub-rapper for the same reasons as Wendy. I didn't give her a dance position even though she has one in aespa because there are already 4 people with dance positions, which I think is enough for a 7-member group. And I think her primary position is vocalist even though she's still a really good dancer. Alright, that's pretty much all for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think of GOT and what positions you think everyone will have. Also, let me know what concept you think they might have. I think it'll be Girl Crush or something along those lines, but I'm not sure. Anyways, see you next time.